Sorry, let me just see what is. Okay. Yep. So this is me in 1991, wearing a school uniform that Eugene, I believe, will be very familiar with also, as we were both from the same alma mater. So this was me and Wing Chu, my husband, in 1991 in Hua Chong Junior College. Actually, that was where we first met, and we actually have been together since then. So we had a long courtship journey, and that ended in marriage. And now we have got two lovely boys, a 15-year-old and a 10-year-old. We always say, I had a 5-year gap in between, and I just believe that the clinic actually was our almost like our second baby. I think the thing about running a business of your own is that it is, as much as the journey is very rewarding and challenging at times, it really is a 24/7 endeavor. So as much as we think we can compartmentalize our lives, actually, your mind is constantly always just thinking about the business. So the picture on the right is us winning the Entrepreneur of the Year award in 2017, and I think that was really one of the highlights of our journey as entrepreneurs. So I believe in couple entrepreneurship. I think for me, when two people come together and are so focused on a particular goal and a vision, the magic happens, and 1 + 1 actually equals 3. So this is our practice. So we currently have 2 dental practices. This is our flagship practice in Kovan. And we also recently, about 2 or 3 years ago, started another dental practice in Orchard. And there is a lot of interaction with technology in our practice. Sorry, I seem to have a little bit of the issue controlling my slides. So sorry about that. Let me just see if I can escape a little. Sorry about that, everyone. Sometimes I think I'm texting my laptop a little too much.
No worries.
Alessio, are you able to do anything on your side at all?
What we can do is we can try to reshare screen. Yeah.
Okay.
Try and unshare and reshare the screen.
Yeah, but it just seems like everything seems to be hanging. Like I can't. I can't move.
The screen affects performance sometimes, lah. So sometimes you need to kind of kickstart it.
Okay, I lost my cursor and.
No worries.
Yeah, you're not able to control anything on your side, hey?
No.
Yeah, I share mine, and then after that, you share yours again.
Yeah, I was going to.
Okay.
Okay.
Where is that?
Okay, I just shared mine, and then now
so
you share yours.
Could share yours?
Yep.
Okay, let me share mine.
You share yours.
Sorry for the technical errors, guys.
I will continue. Okay, I think Are you seeing my screen right now? Or not?
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh dear.
Let me stop share and then see whether you can share.
Alastair, earlier on, okay.
Yeah, why don't
I'm
getting your slides actually on my side. So what I can do is
earlier on. Yeah, Eugene, can you just share yours again, and then so that I think what's happening is that I'm really texting my computer a lot, and so my keynote seems to be hanging.
Oh, Apple product.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, come on! I'm an Apple fan.
Okay.
Louisa, I will just do the share screen.
Yes.
I'll do the share screen, and then you let me know when you want to move to the next slide.
Okay.
Yep.
And I think there's Nora Shikin waiting in the waiting room to be coming in.
Okay, let me her.
There we go. Let me know, lah.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Could you just move on to the next slide? Yeah. Okay. So this is all the technology that we are engaging in. Next, please. Yep. So in DP Dental, actually for us, our Chinese name really epitomizes what we believe in, and sort of it also represents our core values. So 诚信雅客, 诚 means honest, and 心 means core, which also represents how we actually treat and solve problems at the root cause. Next. So these are some of the core philosophies that we believe in DP Dental, that the body is a systemic whole. Next slide. That we solve problems at the root cause. Next slide. And that what nature has given us is always the best. So we actually make sure that we do not go on and do very unnecessary extraction of the teeth for orthodontic treatment. In fact, we try to keep the teeth as much as possible. We will try and save the teeth with lasers instead of just taking it out and doing an implant. Have you seen the Korean stars with all the 10-unit veneers and a beautiful instant smile? Actually, that is really at the expense of cutting down your natural teeth. And this is really not something that we advocate, because we respect nature and we really want to give people the ownership of their own health. Next, please. So this is my team. Really, like Alastair mentioned earlier, we started with a very small team of 5 people probably, and over the last 15 years of our journey, we have grown to a team close to 30 people. And as you can see, actually a lot of the activities that we organize as a team, we actually involve even family members, because we really believe that people are our assets. And the culture in our dental practice is really very much centered around the people, because culture is one of these things where it's not something for you to stipulate that this is how I want the culture of my business to be. Okay, it comes about with the careful hiring, and sometimes even ends up with the firing of certain people, so that the remaining people represent and represent and live the values that you want for the practice. Next. So we have a very flat hierarchical structure in our dental practice, and this is where I really abhor being called a boss, because I don't think I'm a bossy person, and I don't want to be seen as one. I always tell the team that if you really have to have a boss to look up to, or then our patients are our bosses, because essentially they are paying for the bills and for the running of the practice and paying all our salaries. So we have a very flat hierarchy whereby all the teams come together and we put our patients at the center of our focus. Next. Okay, so these essentially are our core values. And just to share with you, if you're running a business currently, and I welcome you to come and come to our website and look for our core values and just take it from there, because I didn't create this list also entirely from scratch. So I was very inspired by Zappos and their internal culture, and how they started out as a company that was selling things online, but they became a symbol of how a culture can be built so strong that people would fly from all over the world. And I remember when I was in Las Vegas, I actually visited the company and was given a tour of how the company was run. And it's really about how everyone, every single person in the business is actually centered around the culture. So for us at DP Dental, we believe in delivering wow through service, embracing and driving change, enjoying the work that we do, but being creative and, being open-minded, taking initiative, pursuing growth and learning. And that is very, very important for me personally too. Actually, all these values that you can see here are also my personal core values, are also, the values that most of our team embrace. Can we have the next slide? So this is where I come to the point where, the business has to be wholly aligned with the personal. Next. So the belief systems that drive our philosophy for our business are also our personal beliefs. So our core values then serve as a guide for how we hire people. It helps the team determine their behavior and guide them in deciding whether what they're doing is aligned or not with the business. And it also becomes a measure for how we reward our team and how we let people go. Often when we have to let someone go, it really is because their personal values are not aligned with our core values for the business. And so, there is that word alignment that you are gonna see very frequently popping up in my presentation today. And actually, I call it being congruent. Next, Alistair. So today we're talking about personal branding, but let's maybe talk about branding that is in a bigger picture. Next. Branding is what naturally emerges when you get all your elements right. So again, like culture, it is not something for you to determine and state that this is my culture and then it happens, right? For culture, it's about how you amass the people and their behavior, their actions determine that culture for your business. Likewise, for branding, it is not something whereby you say, this is my brand, and hence you become that. It really is about people's perception of who you are and what your business is like. So to me, it comes down to a very simple fact that the more congruent we are in aligning our personal values with that of our business, then the stronger the brand will be. And so today I will share with you sort of my journey of how, as I was building the business, I have also in parallel been building my own personal brand. Next. So on the importance of being congruent. Next. We really now live in a world where there is so much fake news, so much falsehood that trust has been eroded. So as much as we would like to trust people, the truth is that there is very little trust now, and you often hear the term, right? You have to earn that trust. But I have realized that, one way to shortcut that process is that if you were to, or one way for us to gain trust quickly is if we display congruence. So this is where, very importantly, your online self is also aligned with your offline self. Next. So I think the first step is to have clarity of your own personal values and what your message for the world is. And then align that with your business values. So earlier on, when I was sharing DP Dental's core values, it was really because all the core values resonated very highly with my personal values. I think, being congruent across all platforms, okay, in your private life as well as your life, in your real life, as well as your digital life. And basically, by digital life, I mean how you're coming across in social media. That helps you actually achieve that congruence. And if anyone is not getting any instant buy-in or giving you that trust immediately, then perhaps, the blink is happening and they are sensing something that's slightly incongruent. Just an example would be like, to me sometimes, let's say a dentist trying to sell you aesthetic work, but they have bad teeth. LASIK doctor who's wearing spectacles. To me, there are these little signs that's part of that body language, part of that unspoken, that that are giving people signs and clues, right? And that actually may be the cause of that distrust also. Next. So actually, Eugene for me is the king of this, on the importance of being authentic. He's one of the most authentic personality I have ever come across, so sincere and really, putting his story out there to inspire people. Next slide. So what does it mean, right, to be authentic? To be authentic is about being honest, about wearing your heart on your sleeves, about not hiding the ugly parts and only letting the beautiful parts show, about sharing the failures as much as the successes. And as thought leaders, I think we also have that moral responsibility to not just portray an unrealistic perfection, but also to share our human struggles. I must say that, this is really not easy, okay? And it really takes a lot. So I really, take my hats off to Eugene, because he has really, truly lived this as an authentic personality. And because of that, it's just so easy to trust him and buy in to all that he shared, because he's just so inspiring, and because he has really put his heart out there. Next slide. So I think for a lot of people, we often just see, other people's successes, right? Because that's what they often show. I mean, I personally have a personal a rule for myself on engaging in social media, because just as like, if there is something good about a person, right, a feedback that I want to give, a positive feedback that I want to give about the team, I would openly share it in front of everybody. But say it is something that is slightly negative, I don't think it's appropriate to be sharing it out in public. So that is where I would bring that person, on a one-on-one chat, right? Likewise, I don't vent and share negativity on social media, because I just don't think that is a right thing to do, or that is not the right platform for. And so we often, share successes, we often share the beautiful things that's happening, but the next slide will show, okay, that really, actually, in real life, most of our lives are just like that beautiful swan that you see gliding so elegantly across the lake is actually paddling very furiously. And so, I have to share with you, there are the ups, but there are also numerous downs that sometimes people don't often share on social media, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. Okay. And I think the next slide is one of those instances where, I realize I have to share that, as much as people always ask me, how do you cope, how do you manage so many things in your lives, and still, be the perfect mom? I'm not. Okay, this is my confession, that this is the state of my bedroom. Okay, it's a mess. All right, something has to give, somehow in life, right? And it's been years and years of like me telling myself that I have to clean up my bedroom, but there's always so many bigger aspirations and dreams that I want to pursue, and so that ends up the last thing that I do. So this is my little secret, right, of how I'm really not as put together, as it seems. So we all have these, messy bedroom, skeleton in the closet. Next. So on personal branding, so I have on the next slide, I thought about it when Eugene invited me to share. I was just really thinking, so how did I go about doing my personal branding? And for me, right at the start, I mean, being an educator, coming from an educator background, for me, educating, sharing my knowledge has always been really tops, right? And so I position myself as a thought leader. And and how I do it is really because I'm very confident that in the businesses that I run, we are very progressive, we are always looking for what is the latest in our industry, and so that we can give our patients the very best. And so, likewise, I'm able to position myself as a thought leader. Another way I think that I have been really portraying my personal branding is by serving the community and also by building my own community. And I'll share with you in the next slide, sort of in a summary, how I do it. So the platforms that I use are very much, well, some of it is live engagement and a lot of it is actually online. So for I literally, because of how we focus so much on learning, we actually also do a lot of teaching. So my husband and I actually, before COVID, had been flying around the world. We get invited all around the world to share about the clinical advances in our practice, and also how we are running our business, and I get invited a lot to share about culture and communication. And so we do a lot of speaking engagements, and I think that is a very excellent way of at the same time sharing, but also having some personal branding engagements happening. Online learning, this is really the next step. I think the recent circuit breaker just accelerated, right? The use of Zoom, people's it just created a whole advancement in people's ability to adapt to digital platforms. And so for me right now, especially when live events are almost impossible or very limited to be able to be carried out, I see that increasing shift onto an online learning platform. And I think, and this will definitely be the area where I'm going to be progressing into, because at DP Dental, we don't just learn and apply, but we teach, right? So because of that, I created Progressive Practice, which is my education arm. So for the past few years, we've been hosting classes for dentists from around the region, and right now I'm also moving on into consultancy and coaching work, and looking at creating that curriculum online. And imagine that if you have an online curriculum, you actually, in a way, can reach the whole world without leaving your bedroom. And also that really is the future. And so I foresee that in future, everyone, if you want to be positioning yourself and your business, it has to have that digital online component. So do remember that. I have been I've been a member of Facebook since 2006. I still find it an excellent platform for posting. For those of you who are not comfortable with social media yet, please start to get onto it, because it really is the best way for the world to know you. So for me, different platforms actually have or ask for different ways of posting. So for me, the way I actually put forth my thought leadership is through personal posts. And so on Facebook, I would usually put in a picture and then write a, maybe about a 100-200 word post. On LinkedIn, LinkedIn apparently is like the new Facebook. Okay, as a lot of people right now are migrating, like the younger generation are migrating a lot to Instagram. LinkedIn has become really the next platform. If you are looking at personal branding, that is where you should be building up your presence. And for LinkedIn, because they are not associated with Facebook, do copy and paste in and write longer key opinion leader articles and thought leadership articles, and that would get you the views. Instagram, to me, Instagram was really started by people in the creative industry. So Instagram really has to be a lot more aesthetic. I haven't really gone into that. In a while, I'll show you my own my own platforms so that you can have a look. There have been people who are really very artful, and they even, really designed their Instagram to be very color coded and very pleasing. I have yet to go on to that, but I also recognize that, the millennials are increasingly moving on to Instagram. So we also do need to know Instagram and Insta stories, right? My way of giving back to the community is by sitting on the board of ASME Connected Women Rotary Club. I'll show you in a while. May I have the next slide, please? So these are the different platforms where I have, in the past few years been engaging in. I sit on the board of Connected Women, and I represent Connected Women in SCWO, the Singapore Council of Women Organizations. And it really is about the part of me who wants to champion women. Connected Women is about empowering women through technology. And so really bringing up, women and supporting women entrepreneurs as a whole. I also am a council member of the Association of Small and Medium Enterprise. And this came about because ASME was the organizer for the Entrepreneur of the Year Award. And after that, I was shortly invited to join as a council member. And I immediately said yes, because I'm also passionate about helping small and medium enterprises, the small businesses. I believe that, not everyone, right, has all these grand ambitions of building a company and bringing it to listing, that actually 70%, of all the businesses in the world are small and medium enterprises. That the MNCs of today were also small, medium enterprises at one point. And I feel like, we need the representation, we need the voice. And, I believe in the concept of small giant, that a business can be small, but at the same time be big as like a giant, that you can have huge revenues and can have a worldwide reach, but you don't have to be the size of an MNC. And recently, I also joined as a Rotarian of the Rotary Club of Singapore, because I really like their model of how they are really serving the community. And it was also another part of my commitment to give back to community. Next. So, so for me now, it's that, so this is my, okay, I think we had one slide that I put into my keynote that isn't here. And it was actually Alistair who actually reminded me. Actually, I also am the founder of TEDx Duxton Hill. So this came about after my husband was invited to give a speech at TEDx Singapore. And basically, that inspired me to set up TEDx Duxton Hill. But really, if you search out Facebook, I have a page on that. And that is really the platform where I want to be aligned with the UN SDGs. And I want to be championing social entrepreneurs and, create that platform for NGOs and social entrepreneurs to be able to share their story on the TED platform. So on the 10th of October, there's going to be an event coming up. So please join us on that page and for more updates. So this is my my own personal Facebook page. So as you can see, I have actually busted my limit of 5,000 friends. I realized that actually Facebook is an incredible way to connect and reach people, and I treat it really essentially like a personal magazine, where I can update, right? Where people who only know me through business will actually be able to catch a glimpse of what my personal life is like. But then again, people who only know me through my personal life actually can also get a glimpse of what I'm doing for my businesses. And actually a lot of the people who come and come and visit us and become our patients eventually, or clients, are really, they end up our friends, or that they started out as our friends and then they became our patients. So you can see how, the personal and the business really intertwines when you really have everything aligned. So because I maxed out my 5,000 friends, I set up another page, so another personal profile, and I called it Louisa Lee too. But I realized after a while that it was so difficult to keep two personalities online. I kept forgetting about my other Louisa and forgot to tag her. And so right now I'm slowly going through my list of friends, and I have to say sorry that I have to drop some people whom I really have very little contact with, and then I'll be clearing my page so that I can really add on friends whom I've really had personal one-to-one contact with. Next. So then again, so on the advice of some people, I also set up a page, right? And so this page is also where I have, I increasingly share about, like, say, my speaking engagement. So this one is more like me as a speaker, as a consultant, as a coach, right? Sharing about all these speaking engagements. So you can see me sharing about today's webinar here. Next. I am also really passionate about setting up platforms for communities. So in case you're not very familiar with Facebook's algorithm, the thing about page is that unless you actually do paid advertisements, it hardly appears, and it gets sort of buried, right? However, if you have groups set up around themes that you are very passionate about, you realize that any updates on the group actually pops up on notification. And so people in your community are able to see what you're sharing. And just to share with you, I know most of you, some of you may be, very busy. Some of you may be actually holding on a full-time job while you are looking at, ways in which you can, create your own business. And so what I have done, just to share with you, is that, sometimes, yes, I think it's hard to always come up with original content. Okay, so for starters, how I kept the groups going, right, was really to share to the group articles, okay, for which I agree with and I believe in. All right, and so I think that is also a way of pointing to people your ideals and your ideology. Like, for instance, I know Eugene set up a Facebook group, right, called the future of something along the line of raising future ready kids.
Yes,
Yes,
future ready
raising
kids.
future ready kids, right? So that, in a way, is very similar to what I'm trying to do here with inspiring kids, congruent parenting, because I'm very passionate about changing the world. And I think, our current healthcare system is a sick care system, and we need to move on, to a true healthcare system where wellness is key, right? Where we're looking at prevention, that we don't even have all these, diseases and issues to worry about. That actually, I still feel that, nothing, that immunity, that strengthening of your own body's immunity, drinking lots of water, breathing through your nose and keeping your mouth closed, is the key to being, to surviving this period of the pandemic. And not enough has been emphasized in this area. For me, kids are inspiring, and a lot of times parents have never been through any formal education on how to bring up kids. So in the end, it results in the need for, when the children become adults, to have coaches, to undergo therapy, to actually undo all the damages and trauma that we often had as children. Personally, I am an introvert, but I've had amazing parents who had, gave me the opportunity to be standing on stage, for storytelling competition, singing competition, and all that. But at the same time, I also had a mother who didn't know any better, because that probably was the way she was brought up. And she was using a lot of what the Chinese call 激将法, which meant that she was putting me down without realizing, saying a lot of negative things, in order to sort of egg me, right? In order to get me to say, I will prove you wrong, and I will do better, But what she didn't realize was that actually that caused a huge dent in my own confidence. And it took me many, many years, up to maybe when I was 40, before I really came to terms and really had, my clipped wings restored back on my shoulder, that I really had the confidence to say that I am great. I am here to do great things. I'm here to change the world. And and that I'm going to be doing it, and I'm going to own it. I'm going to own that mission that I have, to be a revolutionary in healthcare and education. So you see the damage that parents can be doing. I also believe very much in being congruent. And so I started the congruence movement and, the congruent entrepreneur. Next page. So other groups that I've set up was, we're very big into, the healthcare revolution and sleep. Sleep is so important, but so under appreciated. And so educating people, that it's not just about the quantity of time that you're sleeping, but also the quality, and that the timing matters too. I set up Wellbeing Asia because I felt like, we were getting foreigners teaching us yoga and Tai Chi and Qigong. There's actually a lot of wonderful wisdom, okay, in wellness that has already been developed 2,000 years ago through Tai Chi, Qigong, yoga. And these are actually these emerged from India, from China. These are Asian wellness concepts. But we as Asians, I think, appreciate our own roots, our own wisdom, and this is where I really want to emphasize and claim back, right, our roots. Next. So this is my Instagram account, and I have something. I also have a Twitter account, but this is where I really have to say that I really treat Twitter very carefully, because there've been so many cases of CEOs who have tweeted the wrong thing and literally had to delete their whole account, or that it causes some damage, right, to their whole company even, and so I'm very mindful about how I use Twitter. So at the moment, it's rather inactive, but I pull it out when I'm attending a conference. So let's say I'm attending a talk that Eugene is giving, right? And he says some really great, insightful things, that's when I'll pull out my Twitter account, and then I will quote him, things that I agree with. So you see, social media is actually a platform where you can actually be, in posting something that you agree with, you are actually, over time, crafting for people, what you are thinking, how you are thinking. And if people are actually looking through and following you on your social media accounts, over time, they will form a picture of you. And that, to me, is personal branding. Next. So this is my LinkedIn. And this is where, currently I have about 2,000 over links, and building up on it. My next step, really, commitment, is to start writing longer articles, for which I will be posting on my LinkedIn account, and start to also do more video recordings, and then I can actually also link and share. So this is where I put on some of my YouTube sharing. But next, I've also actually set up very, very recently, my own YouTube account. So that's where I have currently 14 subscribers, and hopefully after today, maybe I'll have a couple more. So yeah, and of course, the on stage speaking opportunities, I think it's also very valuable. So when you ever get invited to speak on stage, then do try to get somebody to capture a picture of you on stage. And as you can see also, I'm very much into also positioning, the Asianness. I will always, so this was a talk that I was giving through B1G1. So I'm a B1G1 champion. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But I would always include, something, a Chinese idiom or some wise phrase, right, or concept into my sharing. Next. So this is where recently I've also gone into, you know, the sphere where I really want to do more coaching and guiding and consultancy. So I realized that, you know, this whole thing about being congruent, it starts with alignment. And so it really, you know, starts with understanding your own strengths, right? So recently I set up this closed group. So if you look and search out Planet Congruence, please do ask to join the group here. And on there will be where I'm setting up a small group where we, as we go along, you know, we can actually be exploring deeper in depth into what's your own strength and how can you be actually working towards aligning that personal and that public, that personal and the business side of yourself. Next. So we cannot ignore the role that social media now plays in helping us position ourselves to the world. So please, if you aren't active on social media or using it in a way for personal branding, please start today. Please claim your voice. Otherwise, all you're gonna find are people, you know, adding photos of you in very unflattering light and tagging you to it, you know, and that becoming that representation of you online. Next. So for me, you know, merging the online and the offline, you know, in a path of congruence, that for me is personal branding. Next. Planet Congruence, one more. So please do. I hope to see some of you join me. Yep, next. So I'm very, very big into the UN SDG. So if you're not aware of this, UN actually have these 17 sustainable development goals. And I'm in the process of aligning, you know, my organizations, my businesses to these goals. And for that purpose, that's why I set up TEDx Duxton Hill also to give the platform for people, for social enterprises, for NGOs who are also working towards these goals. Next. So just to share with you, I see that there are 37 participants here on today's webinar. So by attending this talk, you have also helped kickstart an education for a child in Cambodia through DP Dental's partnership with B1G1 and This Life Cambodia. So we are a B1G1 member, okay, and in fact, I'm a B1G1 champion. So what that means is that really B1G1 is a platform where, you know, on the one hand, they accumulated all these NGOs, and on the other hand, businesses, small businesses can become members, and through that platform, you can tie in aspects of your business to aspects of giving. So this is one example of how you do it. Another commitment that I make is that, you know, every email that I send out, okay, a child in India also receives e-learning opportunities. So you know, it's really about how, you know, tying in that giving back to society, giving back to the underprivileged can actually be, you know, something that is as simple as a daily habit. Next.
Give me a sec.
Yeah, we're coming near the end now. So yeah, so this is these are some books that I have written in together with B1G1, and the latest is a book called Our Time to Rise, and it's actually a workbook. You know, if those of you who are searching for your own personal values and then looking at how you can align it, please join me on Planet Congruence, and this is where we will be going through Our Time to Rise. Next. So yeah, I think there's just one last slide. So this is how, Alessa, can we just, yes, thank you. So please connect with me. I hope that, you know, you found my sharing useful. I look forward to actually more of the questions that will come after Eugene's sharing. And yeah, please connect on whatever platform that's comfortable with you, because I'm in most of these places. Thank you very much.
Oh, Louisa?
Yes.
I think Carson had a question for you halfway through, but I didn't want to interrupt you. But
Okay.
usually save it for the end, but I think he's been waiting.
Okay, sure.
What's your biggest struggle along your journey to entrepreneurship?
My biggest struggle. Actually, I must say that, you know, we had for DP Dental, we had a very smooth sailing journey until actually about 2 years ago. That was some issues that we had with regulators. So what happened was that we set up the Orchard Clinic actually exclusively to see babies, to attend to babies, and we were helping with tongue-tie releases using the laser. And what happened was that 1 year into it, we received a letter from the authorities to say that in 14 days you have to cease and desist and not be seeing babies, because they were questioning how is it that my husband is the general dentist, but he's seeing infants. We gave them all the evidence, and we had all the support letters from all the other key opinion leaders from all around the world. And at the end of it, actually the good news that came out of the COVID period was that we received a letter that actually informed us that the complaint has been dropped. That's the good news, but you're not allowed to continue seeing babies. Yeah, so really, I think as leaders and being very at the forefront, so what the problem with what we were doing really was that because my husband was probably one of 2 dentists in Singapore doing this procedure. And so the authorities were very mindful that, is this something, that is, that is to be allowed, and they didn't allow for it. Yeah, which is, I think this is the price that we have to pay sometimes for being, the forerunners. And right now, perhaps, is to really wait for, the demand, for the parents, right, who understand this over time, to demand for it. Yeah, I think the other struggle that I will try to share very briefly is really that what happened was that actually I had 2 businesses that I had to sell off, right, and shut down. And one was an art studio for kids. So after struggling for 3 years, I really couldn't make it happen. There was a huge lesson there, but I think that's for another episode. Yeah. So definitely, like I said, the entrepreneurship journey is like being on a travelator, except that the travelator is going backwards, and you have to keep jogging in order to, if you just keep walking, you're just on the same spot, and you literally have to jog or run, right, so that you can be ahead of your competitors, ahead of the curve. So it's definitely not easy. I mean, the fact that I had my second child 5 years later after my first, because I started that business in the middle, really is the testimony that there is that stress, there is definitely that pressure, but but as long as you have that bigger vision of what you want to be achieving, that becomes the motivation. And and the affirmation that we get, right, from the testimonials and all from the people around us, that then becomes the drive for you to go through. And of course, for any business owner right now, this is a very trying period. For us, although the dental was an essential service, but we were actually as good as shut down, because we were only able to see healthy patients who had really great pain, and we could only do temporary fillings, so it was really, really tough, but I'm glad for the government support in terms of the rental and the JSS, although business owners got nothing. Yeah, but so really, I think this is where we have to support one another. Yeah, as business owners, we will, as entrepreneurs, right, let's support one another, and then we will emerge stronger. Thank you. Sorry, Eugene, I went way beyond my half an hour.
Yeah, no worries. I think Eugene is good at being concise. Now Eugene, please, take.
That is totally sarcastic, Lester. I am the worst at being concise. Okay, everyone. I especially invited Louisa because I must confess to you, it's very difficult to find someone who is a perfect case study of my model. I'm going to share with you my model, and then you can see exactly how her entire business, her person, and her family all combines into the model. And the strange thing is, we didn't even know each other until I think 2 years ago. Yeah, so it just shows that there is a greater being out there that is just bringing people together, like-minded people. Just like 37 of us, You know, it is not coincidence that you are here today. You know, I don't believe in coincidence. Somehow you are available, and somehow the flyer appeals to you, and somehow you are still here, right? You didn't drop out halfway. So hold on tight, because tonight is going to be a life-changing night the moment you decide it is so. Okay, right now I'm going to share my slide. So my framework is called Super Brand Me, and those who, for example, know me for a long time know that I have actually many pieces in this Super Brand Me process. Okay, so let's take a look at each piece, and I would like to encourage all of you to write down notes, okay, please. And when you write down notes, don't write down what you see. That one you can just take picture. You should write down what you want to apply. I repeat, when you take down notes, don't write down what you see. That one just take picture. Write down what you want to apply, okay? Because there's no way I can apply this for 37 entrepreneurs. I have no idea what you do even. So if some of you sell locks, you apply it to sell locks, right? Dental, apply to dental. Nutrition, apply to nutrition. And I saw a lot of educators, people who are tutors, people who are MOE teachers trying to come out. I had a few principal and vice principal who say, hey, can I be a life coach? They are very drawn to this lifestyle, except it's unstable income, whereas they are so comfortable every month earn the same pay as a principal and vice principal. But sooner or later that they will come up. So this is my very short story. I won't elaborate much because I think a lot of you have already known about it. 2001, I started life in SGX. 2011, I moved my whole family. Yes, that's my family. I rarely show their photo on Facebook, by the way, because my wife is extremely privacy strict. Yeah, so sometimes she even say, hey, can you remove our daughter's photo from here? Yeah, and she keeps sending me pictures, articles of children being cyber kidnapped, you know, like taking the photo and putting on some pornography website. So she's a bit, by the way, she was a pastor from our church, so you can imagine her background. Yeah, so I am almost opposite from her when it comes to social media. But I digress. So I moved my whole family to Hong Kong, and you can see right at the back there, that very tall building behind the rubber ducky, that is my office, IFC, International Finance Center, the second tallest building in Hong Kong. And then in 2014, I lost my job, okay, in Hong Kong. So imagine, I brought my whole family to Hong Kong, and then I brought my whole family back to Singapore. And I remember that year, a lot of people asked me, hey, why so fast? How come you went to Hong Kong, became an expat, and then you came back so quickly? And I had no congruence, you know, I want to confess. Despite being a Christian, despite being a father, I lied. I told people that I resigned. I didn't like Hong Kong. Yeah, because somewhere in my head, I don't know why, you know, I have this impression that people who are retrenched are failures, you know, which is not true, by the way, right? But somehow I don't know who programmed this into my head. Until 2014, when I lost my job, I saw myself as a failure. And who would go out and just shout, I'm a failure, I'm a failure, I'm a failure. However, during that year, right, I'm sharing this story with a lot of elaboration because of the word congruence that Louisa just shared. You know, lack of congruence lead to lack of sleep. So during 2014, I really couldn't sleep well because there was no congruence. You know, here I was lying to the world, and then there I was telling my children that we must have integrity. Then I even went to church and lead worship. Like, oh, hallelujah. So there was completely no congruence in my life. Yeah, and I couldn't sleep well. And then late 2014, I couldn't take it anymore. I went to Facebook and I announced I lost my job. And then that night I slept very well. Yeah. So I think I cannot overestimate and overstate the importance of congruence. So thank you, Louisa, for bringing that out, and thank you for running congruence movements in so many shapes and sizes. I highly encourage everybody, please join Louisa Lee's congruence movement. Okay, it is very important in this world that we have congruence in our business, in our personal life, in our health, and so on. So 9 months, no job. I had to ask government for assistance. I honestly never expected that, you know, Louisa and I were from Hwa Chong, and then Hwa Chong boy can be retrenched without a job and be on financial assistance scheme is not something that parents can imagine their child to go through. Yeah, but I went through it, and I'm actually very thankful I went through it. because I was quite arrogant in the past. Can you imagine going through elite schools, going to NTU and then being an expat in Hong Kong? It just created arrogance in me. Life was far too smooth. And Carson asked Louisa a very good question, and Louisa answered so elegantly. We need struggles. Can you write this down? This is a very important lesson. If nobody is giving you struggles, please go and find struggles. Because if you are too comfortable, you become a zombie. I was a zombie and I was too comfortable. So I'm very, very glad that I believe in God, because God shook me out. It's like, oh, you zombie! Stop becoming a zombie! And I believe God was the one who created the joblessness. Right? Because if he wanted, he can snap a finger and I will be the CEO in a bank. But he didn't want that. So I became jobless and I was in the financial assistance scheme. And that year, 2015, I learned what is empathy. Empathy. And I started feeling for people. Before that, I only felt for myself. I only wanted to climb the corporate ladder. I only wanted to feed my family, give them a very good life. But 2015 made me a life coach. I started seeing what people go through, and I started telling myself, this is my calling. I want to help as many people as possible within my lifetime. And I started growing a movement called the Abundance Movement. Okay, so Louisa is all about congruence. I'm all about abundance, which actually means roughly the same thing. So this was me, and I love to put this Cai Peng picture in everywhere I go. I went to Florida to give a keynote, and I also put Cai Peng picture, and they have no idea what it is. Americans look at this and like, what is this? You cannot find Cai Peng in an American restaurant, and I don't know why. Cai Peng is the most wonderful invention in the F&B world, even better than durian. Okay, durian is not invention. Durian is a creation by God. But Cai Peng is so wonderful. You get balanced diet and you only pay $2 to $2.50. It is the perfect food for retrenched people. Okay. Yeah, so every day I eat 2 meals, each one $2.50. Can you imagine in Singapore, which is so expensive, I only spend $5 per day. Wow, beautiful. Or myself, my children continue to eat organic chicken from that bought by my wife. Yeah. Okay. Oh, by the way, this was the year that I started Super Brand Me. Yeah, please scan this QR code and join my Super Brand Me movement if you haven't joined yet. Yeah, this was the year. I went to a guy. Okay, his name is Sam, S-A-M, and he only charged $50 for a Facebook course. $50, So no matter how broke I was eating Cai Peng, I just had to skip a few meals and I could afford a $50. So I went there, and on that night, I forgot most of the things. Okay, it's 3-hour course, I forgot. But I remember one thing. How to start a Facebook group. So Louisa started a lot of Facebook group, and I started a lot of Facebook groups. For goodness sake, if you're an entrepreneur, please learn how to start a Facebook group. Right? It is free. It is free. I don't know why some of you didn't start a Facebook group. Seriously, I don't know why. This has been the best thing for me. When I started a Facebook group, and by the way, please go to Canva or go to Fiverr and design a nice logo like this. Okay, Super Brand Me. When people see a nice logo, they believe that somehow you are successful. Yeah. Can you imagine I was at the bottom 20% of Singapore? I was getting government handouts, but I designed a very nice golden logo called Super Brand Me. And suddenly everybody treated me as a super branding coach. Okay, this was in 2015. It is amazing. Always position yourself in a way that you want to be. Okay, a lot of people think that, this is imposter syndrome or fake it. It's not fake. I am a personal branding coach who is broke. Okay, yeah, so I was broke. Yeah, so always position yourself the way you want to be, right? So for example, LinkedIn, I remember even before I got ICF, International Coach Federation certificate, I already put myself as coach because I see myself as a coach, right? The certificate is a bonus. It doesn't mean that I need a certificate before I become a coach. Okay, so I think this kind of thinking is very unhealthy for a lot of people. They start to say, I'm an aspirational coach, aspirational this, aspirational that. Nobody in their right mind is going to pay you money to be an aspirational doctor, right? If I get cancer, there's no chance I'm going to pay money to an aspirational doctor, right? We need a real one. And a real one, okay, doctor needs cert, by the way, but coach doesn't need, right? Coach needs life experience. So as long as I have life experience, I can give value to the other person. I called myself a coach. And then after that, I caught up by actually getting an ICF cert, NLP cert, and a lot of other certs. Okay, so please join this group and we discuss topics on personal branding almost every day. This morning, I just shared Pritam Singh, Pietan Singh post. Please go and find this post. I tell you, it's phenomenal. I only posted 2 sentences. And then there were countless comments. Okay, go in and also give your comments. I would love to hear your comments in this group. So 2017 was the turning point financially. Okay, financially. That year, I started earning the same income as my Nomura salary. Yeah, so to me, that was my turning point. Because until I reached that stage where I earned the same salary as my Nomura, I always felt like I was shortchanging myself. I believe in pursuing calling, mission, passion. But I also believe that by pursuing it, you should earn what you deserve. I don't believe in going broke to pursue your passion. I sincerely don't believe it. If there's a musician, a chef who is broke and pursuing his passion, then honestly, I'm thinking there's something not quite right with the skills, right? Because a master chef, a master musician will always earn that kind of income that a celebrity deserves, right? And so far from my life, from Louisa's life, and from a lot of friends' lives, I've seen that to be true. Okay, so never take that kind of lie that, oh, I pursue my passion, therefore I must be broke. It's completely a lie. Okay, you don't have to be broke. So 2017 was my turning point, and then I started appearing in various media. This is Business Times, helping SOTA to raise funds, School of the Arts. And wow, talking about TEDx, yeah, so I was finally, I was hoping, praying somebody invites me for TEDx. I went for the TEDx.com.sg website. I nominated myself. I know I'm very thick-skinned. I'm so sorry about that. I nominated myself and nobody replied to me. In Hokkien, they say, bo you, okay? Nobody cared about me. So I decided, okay, it's a waste of time. Stop nominating myself. And I went to SG100, which is a foundation to give back to the young, to the next generation, okay? And during one of these voluntary events, one of the youths is a curator of TEDx. And he said, Eugene, are you free on so-and-so date? Can you come and be our TEDx speaker? It's so strange, right? You nominate yourself, you're not selected. Then you don't think about it and you start to volunteer and give back and contribute, then you are invited. This is the life I know. This is what I call a spirit of abundance. Okay, a lot of people think personal branding is tooting your own trumpet. That means you're following the wrong coach already. Personal branding is living out your true values. That is my definition of personal branding, which is very similar to Louisa, which is why I invited her story as the case study. It's very hard to find people like that, who believes personal branding is living out your true values. Most people think it's about logo, color, dressing. It's way beyond that, way beyond that. And then I was invited to Florida, thankfully, before COVID-19. This was 13 February this year. I was on stage for 1 hour. And then thankfully, I was paid for that. TEDx didn't pay me, okay? But this company paid me $15,000 US. $15,000 US for talking for 1 hour. I tell you, till today, I have to pinch myself. Like, is that true? I have to look at my bank account. Oh, it's true. It just shows the value of personal branding. That when you live out your values, sooner or later, other people will know, right? Sooner or later, other people will know, and then they will pay you according to what you deserve. Okay, so I started traveling around the world, Dubai, Moscow, Langkawi, and one of my greatest pride is to go to North Korea. Hey, sorry. I haven't converted yet. Yeah, North Korea. So 3 times a year, ex-Hwa Chong, this one I didn't tell Louisa before. Ex-Hwa Chong boy, which will go unnamed in case he's assassinated, will collaborate with a North Korean civil servant who will also go unnamed in case he is executed. These two actually combined to form a conference. I was lucky enough to be invited to be one of the speakers. The topic was not personal branding. The topic was tourism. I had to just make up a topic to go there. That's another story altogether. And then TEDx. I'm so proud of it. I showed twice. Oh, and I'm also in financial advising, and a lot of people say, wow, very saturated. People sure change their phone number the moment you join. But it didn't happen for me. right? The moment I live out my values, instead of people running away, people came to me, right? Just in case you cannot find me, I am here. Yeah. Okay. People say my face very big, but actually not very big. It's quite small. Yeah. So this is called the $1 Million Roundtable Club. Top 5% of the industry in the world, not just in Singapore, flew to Miami, fully sponsored, to attend a conference. So what did I do? Here is the summary. Okay. Please write down. Okay. How does each of these V apply to you? And you can see very clearly how each of these three V was used and applied in Louisa's business. So let's start with visibility, right? Louisa is everywhere. Do you notice? Instagram, Facebook, and recently she started YouTube. Please be everywhere. All these are free, right? Free. When I was growing up in primary school, it was not free, right? You have to pay maybe $20,000 for a 30-second advertisement on MediaCorp, Channel 5, Channel 8. At the time, it was called TCS. Okay, I'm very old, okay? Yeah, it was called TCS, Television Corporation of Singapore. And before that, I was also alive, okay? It was called SBC, Singapore Broadcast Corporation. Some of you don't bluff, you look like my age one, you know what I'm talking about, okay? So during those days, you have to pay $20,000 or $8,000 for a full page ad on Straits Times. But now, I love Mark Zuckerberg. I'm straight, by the way. Yeah, but I love Mark Zuckerberg. Right, because he invented Facebook, now I can advertise myself for free. Free. Okay, so I don't know why you're not visible. You should be visible like Louisa, like me. Okay, be everywhere. So, by the way, please connect with me on LinkedIn. Okay, along the way, you will get the chance to connect with me on various platforms. So be visible. I'm sure most of you are visible on Facebook, okay? The Facebook, I don't think is the blind spot. The blind spot is LinkedIn. Do you know how many entrepreneurs I met without LinkedIn account? I tell you, it is tragic. It's tragic because you are missing out lots of business opportunities on LinkedIn, okay? I must confess something. In 2014, when I started my business, I started Facebook first. And for many years, I was focusing on Facebook, just like you. And then one day I met this guy called Walter Lim. He's a godsend, right? He's an angel. Till today, we are still very good friends. And he actually taught me LinkedIn for free. Okay, the true story is actually I engaged him to be a speaker in Super Brand Me. And then he was speaking to my community about LinkedIn, and I was there as the organizer. Yeah, so not only did he teach me for free, I actually earned a profit learning LinkedIn. Okay, and feel free to copy this idea. Okay, yeah, invite me to speak about LinkedIn, and then you can sit there and learn for free. But you must put other people in the room, not just you in the room, okay? That one not counted. Okay, so please scan this QR code and connect with me on LinkedIn. We are still on visibility. So now let's go to voice. And just now, Louisa also talked about voice, remember? You know, it's really amazing how she runs a totally different practice, which is dental, and I run life coaching, and yet our branding is so much similar, okay? So everything is about voice. You look at visibility, is only the top 10% of the iceberg. So even if you're very visible, but you have no voice, people may not like you, okay? So you need a voice. And the easiest way to convey a voice is through personal struggles. It is amazing, you know? Most people think that by sharing personal successes, like going on stage, win this award or property agent award or MDRT award, that is your voice. That's not your voice. You know, like 12,000 agents out there all showing awards. What makes you so different? But imagine if you are a property agent, insurance agent, or direct selling, and you share struggles. That is very rare, very, very rare. Okay, so please convey your voice by sharing your struggles. Okay, so that is what I mean by the voice, and that is a much deeper framework than visibility. And talking about voice, I'm writing my story, my 6-year story, okay, not from childhood, from I lost my job until now, I'm writing my story. Super Brand Me, how to overcome failure and live your dream through building an authentic personal brand. Okay, I am selling this book, by the way. It's $29.90 for the hard copy. But for the PDF, it's free. So if you want a PDF copy, I will personally email it to you. It is free, okay? But I can't autograph a PDF copy. If you want an autograph copy, you have to buy $29.90, okay? Sing dollars. Please email me right now, and I will send it to you. I'm still writing, by the way, so you won't receive it tomorrow. Okay, I have finished but every time I wake up with new idea and I keep adding. I don't know when I'm going to finish. Okay, yeah, I'm aiming for November. Okay, hold me accountable. I'm aiming for November. Okay, finally, the third V is called values. Yeah, and again, whatever Louisa shared earlier just deeply resonates with me. So her value is very clearly congruence. I mean, she has many other values. Yeah, but the word that keeps standing out is congruence. And for me, my value is abundance. Of course, I also have filial piety, integrity, but the key, I call it anchor. Okay, in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which I happen to be certified in, this word is called anchor. There's something very strong that prevents this very heavy ship from floating away, right? It's anchored in the same spot despite a heavy storm. So we all need an anchor in our life, an anchor in our business. I mean, as a Christian, God is my anchor. Yeah, but in your business, you need to choose a word. So Louisa has chosen congruence as the word to be her anchor value, and I chose the word abundance as my anchor value. Okay, so tonight, since you are on this webinar, I invite you to choose a word. Okay, choose a word. Right now, please write down whatever first word pop into your head, choose the word. Throughout the past 6 years, I had many clients, and I had words like significance. Later, I'll reveal to you who that person is. Some of you may actually know him. He's a very famous branding coach in Singapore as well. And I was so honored that this branding coach came to look for this branding coach to coach him. So it's like, wow, I was really super honored. And then together we brainstormed the word significance, and that became his value. And then I have another good friend whose anchor value is about destiny, destiny. Yeah, so different people have different kind of values. Please choose yours. Okay, without an anchor value, no point advertising here, visibility there, right? People don't even know what you stand for, so they won't trust you. Okay, so let's go one by one. Let me move away this. So the result, if you do this 3V very well, you will receive and enjoy the same result as Louisa and as me. Okay, so first, people will remember you, right? They won't go like, sorry, Louisa who? Eugene who? And people will say, oh yeah, Eugene, I heard of him before. So that's very important because you are everywhere. You're on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, and not just on, right? You post regularly, right? Every week, definitely at least you will see me once on each of these platforms, at least once. No matter how busy I am, you will see me once. And some of these go viral. Recently, I wrote a post about election, and that post went viral. That was my, by the way, that was my only post that was shared 2,000 times. Not like 2,000 times, shared 2,000 times. Okay, I must confess, not all my posts get shared. Yeah, but wow, I can't believe it. So being visible is very important. And then lots of strangers start contacting me because when your post goes viral, all these strangers start to read, and then they connect with you. Private message you. They say, hey Eugene, I read your article recently. Can we connect? Bingo! Right? All these people become friends and then ultimately become clients, or like what Louisa said, become clients first and ultimately become friends. Either direction, it is perfectly fine, right? Because ultimately we become client and friends. And it's not just one direction. I also become their client. Okay. A lot of times I say, what do you do? Oh, you sell shoes? Okay. Yeah, I buy shoes from you. What do you do? Oh, tailor? Oh, okay. I make a suit from you. Yeah, so it is like a kampong, right? Each of us bless each other. This is very, very important. Never see other people only as your client, but you are refusing to be their client, okay? It will be two direction throughout lifetime. Very, very important. Okay, so this remember. And the next one is like. Okay, like it is very important that when you share your story of your struggles, of your family, that people start to like you. And it's very simple why they like you, because they now see you alike as them, right? You look alike. You're not some guru on stage, unreachable, right? You are like, oh, a father. You are a son. Oh, you have an elderly mother too. Oh, you have 3 children too. Everything is so alike. That's why people like you, okay? A lot of people struggle with likability. Like, hey, I don't know why my clients don't like me. Because all your posts are about property launches, right? I scroll through. Wow, for the past 3 months, you've been talking about property and nothing else. Right, it doesn't resonate with anybody. right? You need to show your authentic self, that you go jogging, that you go holiday, that you struggle with weight, you struggle with this. By the way, I struggle with weight. Yeah. Okay. Digress a little bit. And then finally, values. Okay. This was my last few slides already. Values. Can you tell me what is the result of showing your values? Okay. So I already tell you the answer for visibility is, remember, voice is light. What is the result of showing your true values of abundance and congruence? Can you type in the, did somebody say something? Nobody. Okay. Can you type in the chat and Alistair can just read out for us? Yeah, because my tiny screen cannot see the chat.
So far, only June said this is what they call 关系. But yeah.
Okay. Hey, come on. I'm going to give you something free, but I haven't decided free what yet. Maybe free selfie. Okay.
Fia says authenticity. Carson says authenticity. Xiang Yang says connect. Maritha says sustainability. Jimmy resonance. Min yeah, it says respect.
Wait, I give you the first letter. T.
Mark says trust.
All right, Mark, you win a free selfie from me. Yeah. Yeah, after this point, nobody wants to take part in any contest already. Okay, so values will lead to trust. Nobody's going to trust you simply because you are entertaining, you wear a clown hat, and then you juggle. Right, you need to be much deeper than that. People need to trust you because you have the same values of integrity, abundance, congruence as them. And by the way, if what I say resonates with you, that you believe values is very important in personal branding, please put the word values right now in the chat. Okay, let's see how many of you have congruence with what I'm talking about. Okay, and this is the hashtag that I've been using for almost all my, it is one of the easiest way to show your values. I mean, ultimately to show real value, people have to know you long enough. Yeah, but the fastest way to show your value is to hashtag. Please, for goodness sake, after today, show your hashtag, okay? Hashtag something. And when you hashtag something, don't just put the word hashtag abundance, because when people click on the hashtag, then they start to be brought to Russia, America, South Africa, because everybody also hashtag abundance. You need a phrase, okay? And the phrase needs the word inside. So tonight, you have a lot of homework before you sleep. Later, I'll test you. Oh, sorry, Louisa wants you to sleep early. Okay, after you sleep early, you wake up early, and then you text me or Alistair. Tell me my hashtag is blah, 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 blah. Okay, and then we will take turns to critique and to encourage also. We don't critique all the time. We'll encourage you, okay? So hashtag something. This is a very, very important homework tonight. And by the way, when you choose a hashtag, please Google the hashtag first. Right? I don't know why people don't Google, Google is free. Google hashtag to see whether other people use it first or not. So I actually, to be honest, Say Yes to Abundance is not my first hashtag. Okay, I have many other choices. And when I keep looking, everybody use already. Finally, when I say yes to abundance, nobody use. In fact, even the domain name is available. Okay, I went to namecheap.com. Namecheap.com is a place you can search for domain name. And I searched for sayyes-to-abundance.com. Wow, it's available. And it is only $8.88 per year. Can you believe it? Such a wonderful domain name is available to me at $8.88 per year because I am the first to chop it. Okay, I put tissue paper on the table, so you cannot sit at the table. Very, very important, okay? So please find a hashtag, Google it to see whether it's available, and then quickly buy the domain name. I see so much free advice tonight. And to show you that it works not just for Louisa, not just for me, but it works for anybody. It works for this guy called Caleb Low. He's very, very famous in Singapore, a lot taller and a lot better looking than me. Yeah, but I'm not jealous and I still have a meal time with him. You see, I'm such an abundant person, not easily jealous. So this guy is amazing. He came to me, at first he was an image consultant, as you can see in the testimonial. So that is just visibility. So after a few sessions of coaching, then we found his voice. His voice is about self-esteem. Last time he was stick thin. Nobody really liked him. So he started sharing this story on social media and people started liking him. Not just engaging him, but liking him. And after that, he went even deeper and hashtag significance. Wow, now all the men with low self-esteem, which is a lot, by the way, there are many men with low self-esteem, started coming to Caleb and not just improve their looks, but most importantly, improve their core value and their heart. Okay, so this is the 3V as applied to Caleb. And then the 3V as applied to Sophie. She was actually a second generation owner of a large business run by her parents. But after that, she wanted to be a coach, okay, specifically a life coach. So she decided, okay, let's engage Eugene Xia. And then after a few months, I found her voice. Her voice is as a mother. So currently she runs a few Facebook groups similar to Louisa, similar to me, talking about parenting. So that's her voice. And then we finally found her value. Her value is called being hearty. Hearty, Hearty. It's a very unique value. We went to Google hearty and no one across the 7 billion people in the world use the word hearty to describe value. Okay, only Sophie. So I still remember the brainstorming where we go, yeah, we found it, hearty. And then we went to domain search, Hearty Coach, Hearty Life, Hearty Family. She now owns the whole Hearty series. Hearty is very positive because when we eat a hearty breakfast, it means nutritious and fulfilling. So we use it as a metaphor to describe a family life, a hearty family life. I love it. And then this, yes.
Lisa asked, how does a personal hashtag work?
Oh, just put hashtag and add the word. Does that answer your question? Sorry, I don't really understand the question. Alistair, can you translate for me?
No, it doesn't answer my question.
Oh, okay. Okay, sorry. Can you rephrase your question?
I guess you use a hashtag. Is it for Instagram or in LinkedIn? Is that how it works? It's somehow interconnected, both in Instagram with LinkedIn?
No.
How does it work in that sense? What's the purpose of having a hashtag?
Okay. This one needs to go into the museum already. So when I go into the museum, Instagram was the first place to hashtag. Or was it Twitter? Louisa, do you know? Twitter or Instagram? One of these, right?
Both, both.
I think
for
about the same time.
Hashtags are very, very important. And in fact, maybe even choose a cluster of 10 to 15 that you can usually, regularly put together with your post. And the whole purpose is that when you click on it, right? Let's say if you I hashtag, let's say planet congruence, okay? And now if anyone comes across one post, if you just click on planet congruence, all the other, related posts comes up. So that's how hashtags work. Yeah. So if you have several that are very key, right? Like say yes to abundance that you own, right? Then all the previous posts that Eugene has done on this topic comes up. And sometimes even the group, right? The Facebook group that you set up also comes up. Yeah. So it's like a quick, like Peter says, a quick keyword search. Yeah.
Very good.
Also, to be clear, the web domain and the hashtag are two separate things. Like you have your hashtag and then you also have your web domain. Because Liz was asking, is it like a web domain?
Please have both. Okay, have both. The web domain costs something, maybe $8, maybe $15 per year. The hashtag is free. Okay, the hashtag serves number one, what Louisa just said. The moment you click on it, every other post that has a hashtag comes out, which is why you need a unique hashtag, because you don't want other people's posts to come out. Then it's very confusing. I was searching for Eugene Xia, come now, all sorts of people come out. Okay, so have a unique hashtag. But you also need a generic hashtag, like hashtag personal branding, so that when people click on personal branding somewhere else, nothing related to me, there's a chance of finding me. Okay, so it is outwards, it is inwards. Okay, and in the third way, if nobody click on it, because some people just want to read the post, nobody click on it, it is also fine, because by simply hashtagging it, it is actually tattooing the phrase into a person's brain. It is called mind share. The person keeps seeing the same hashtag over and over again until he cannot help but take notice of it. Just like the letter M for McDonald's, right? They put it in every bus stop. It's crazy. You cannot see the burger, you can only see the M. And then now the M is tattooed into my brain, despite the fact I don't like McDonald's. And then now somehow, something inside me is pulling towards the French fries. So this hashtag is like the letter M, very, very powerful. I hope I have answered your question. Yes? Okay. Just to double confirm. Okay, let me continue. So 3V as applied to Yuan Tai, who was a digital marketer and now is a digital marketer plus life coach. The first thing I ask him to do is please stand for something. Don't be like a generic digital marketer, right? How many thousands of digital marketers are there? Can you imagine giving a name card to somebody and say, hello, I'm a digital marketer. You might as well say you're an insurance agent, right? People will similarly run away. Okay, there's no more difference anymore. Or I'm an affiliate marketer. Okay, always describe yourself in terms of a value. Like I'm an abundance life coach, right? Not I'm trying to sell you a coaching program. No, right? I stand for abundance. So by being with me, you will grow in abundance. Always describe yourself in terms of a value. So Yuan Tai described himself in terms of a value, which by the way is happy man. He wanted to be a happy man. This one is from him. I didn't create it. So I say, hey, since you're the happy man, why don't you print t-shirts and create a happy man club? He's like, oh, bingo! And then he created a Happy Man Club. And because of that, he was featured on Money FM. By the way, this guy on the left is the DJ. He's my personal friend. And I think Louisa knows him as well, right? He's from the APSS, Asia Professional Speakers. Yeah. And doesn't mean you're his friend. He will feature you on the radio, by the way. So I have to pitch to him, And they say, what does Yuan Tai do? Right? I cannot say he's a digital marketer. Nobody in their right mind is going to interview a digital marketer. So I said, he is the founder of the Happy Man Club. And then he goes like, what? What does that do? Yeah, so I said, hey, Yuan Tai, please write to him and describe what does Happy Man Club do. And because it was very close to COVID-19 and people were very, very depressed, wow, now they want to feature him. We want to be happy man. Please, Yuan Tai, teach us how to be happy. And because of that, he was also featured on the Sunday Times. All these clients of mine, their newspaper article actually bigger than mine. I'm not jealous. I'm very happy. Okay, so the 3V applies to everybody. Okay, right now, Alistair is going to share a link in the group. Okay, and after you click on the link, I'm going to continue. Louisa and I will answer some questions. Okay, so what this link does is that it allows you to indicate interest. That, hey, I also want to be like Caleb. I want to be like Yuan Tai. I want to be like Sophie. I want to be coached by you. Okay. When you fill in this form, it does not mean that automatically you are in my coaching program. There's no way one Eugene Seah 24 hours per day is going to coach so many people. Right? It's impossible. So you're just indicating interest. And then Alistair and I will read through the form and then we'll discuss and then we will select. Okay. And select doesn't mean you have obligated to join also. We selected, then we will call. And then you can still say, not really for me, or, oh, yes, say yes to abundance. Come, sign me on. Okay, so this is a very open platform. You cannot sign up for my coaching tonight, by the way. You can only indicate interest. Okay, so just click on the link right now, fill up the form while Louisa and I answer questions. Let's go.
Yeah, guys, at this point, I am going to take away unmute. I'm going to let you guys unmute yourselves. But if you're a bit shy, don't worry, you can just type in the comments and I'll bring up your question for you.
By the way, it's 9:32. I respect our time because I think I posted, the flyer says 9:30 or 10, I can't remember. Alistair, do you remember? Louisa,
9:45, if I recall correctly, 9:45, if I recall.
Okay. Yeah. But I just wanted to say, if any of you are rushing off, like to tuck your kids in bed or to eat durian supper, please go ahead. Yeah, but whoever wants to ask question, Louisa and I and Alistair will be here until 10. Okay, we'll answer any question you like.
Oh, before people start leaving, can we do a screenshot?
Oh yeah. Let's take a picture.
So okay, I think we should. Usually we got a hand signal for abundance, but then since Louisa is our host today, can we do a C? I don't know. I don't know how. Louisa, can we do a C for your congruence? I don't know. Or do you already have a hand signal? Any gang signs that we can use?
I'll go with whatever you suggest.
Okay, we go with C. Can we
do A and C?
A and C, all right. I am not going to do it because I need to press the screenshot button.
How do you do that?
It doesn't matter. It's, as long as you have a C and as long as you have an A, you are good to go. For those of you who are super shy, turn on your camera for just a few seconds. Let's have this moment.
Okay, turn on. I'm going to do a screenshot and then we can do Q&A.
Does mine look like a C or should it be the other way around?
I think that's first one. C.
This one like that.
CNA.
This one look like C. Correct. This one look like
C.
C.
CNA.
Okay, ready?
Good thing we're talking about California.
I can only show A because I need to press the button. Okay, ready? Okay, pretend to be happy. Yay. Okay. Not pretend, everyone. Okay, ready? Go. Okay, very good. Okay, later we'll sell the photo for $25 per piece.
It's like the ride in Disneyland. You go and take the photo.
Just joking. Okay, come. Ask Louisa and I questions.
Oh, for the photo later, if any of y'all wanted to post on Facebook, you guys can reach out to me. Yeah.
Seriously, no question. If you are too shy to verbalize, just type the question.
Hi,
Okay.
Eugene and Louisa. Kiali. Thanks so much for the session.
Hi,
I was going
Kiali.
to type, but the question was too long. So I was asking, how do you tie in all your different facets of your life? Like, because you are not just a dentist, you're not just advocator for congruence. So how you tie all the other aspects of your life into like congruence or abundance for Eugene?
Well, if you look at it, right, for me, I'm here as a change maker. You know, I want to see a world of change in terms of education and healthcare. Actually, both are living systems, so they're actually very, very challenging to change, right? So I recognize that I need a whole community. But, you know, that's why, to me, congruence for me is the glue that got links everything together. Because I'm not a dentist, my husband is, but I manage the practice. But in healthcare, you know, we are solving problems at the root cause. You know, through education, you know, I'm also solving problems at the root cause. So if you look at it, right, all the core values that and philosophy and beliefs that I hold, right, is the common link, you know, to all these aspects that I'm managing. You know, I'm passionate about, you know, changing the world, and I realized that, you know, and so that's why, you know, the TEDx community part, right, to create that platform for social entrepreneurship. You know, I'm passionate about, you know, helping women, helping small business owners, and hence, you know, the yeah. So these are what just gives me the energy, right? And I think simply by living a congruent life already helped me simplify my lives, because I realized that for some people, younger people especially, you know, the ones who feel like, you know, they have to be a certain persona, wear a certain mask, right, when they are at work, and then be a different person when they are, you know, at home. I lead a very simple life. What you see is what you get at work, at home, you know, overseas, in Singapore, everywhere. So to me, I have already simplified a lot of aspects of my life. You know, I love, you know, uniforms actually. Then it really cuts out, you know, thinking. You know, for me, I go for just one designer whom I think, you know, epitomizes my style, and I just get everything just from that designer. So I really worked very hard at simplifying my life. Yeah. Eugene, how about you?
For me, I draw a Venn diagram. Yeah. So Venn diagrams are very useful. That's one of the most useful thing I learned in primary school. Yeah, I forget about other things already. Yeah, so all of us, I encourage you to draw Venn diagrams, okay? Because, I mean, congruence and abundance is in this region. It is where things overlap. So I have to ask myself, what aspect of my life can I overlap, right? So I decided, I mean, this is my personal choice, that I have 3 aspects of my life. Yeah, so one, as all of you know, is money, because I manage people's money and also manage my own family's money. And then the other thing is called mindset. I am a NLP certified coach. So everything is about mindset shifts and mindset transformation. And because I love branding so much, you know, tonight's talk is about branding, and I call it mastery. Branding is actually mastery of trust. Right? But if I call it mastery of trust, nobody is going to sign up for tonight's webinar. Yeah, but what I believe is mastery of trust. When you can do the 3 V's very well, if you can do everything that Louisa described very well, then your clients start to trust you. The world starts to trust you. The government starts to trust you. Yeah, so I call it mastery of trust. I hope this has answered Kelly's question.
Thank you, Louisa and Eugene.
Yeah.
Give us A star. Thank you. Okay. And Lizzie has a question, right?
Right. What's the favorite part of my job? Yeah, I think healthcare and education alike, we touch lives, and I think that's what Eugene is also doing as a coach. You know, we transform lives. And I think nothing is more beautiful than being able to inspire other people to transform and become a better version of themselves. So, I'm still an educator at heart. So my whole team, I'm just constantly sitting there thinking, how can I help them discover the most beautiful part about themselves so that they even recognize it themselves? How can I help them grow? How can I really bring out their strengths, just as if they were my students? Yeah. And I think likewise, right, Eugene? As a coach, I think when you are in any business that touches lives and it's just so meaningful, and you just get pushed by that big force, and every moment is just so amazing.
I read a book called The Road Less Traveled. It is a book about psychology and about life. It's by Dr. Scott Peck. If you like reading books, sorry?
I only know the poem by Robert Frost. That was one of my literature, because I used to be a literature teacher, teaching English literature, philosophy for children. Yeah.
The Road Less Traveled also.
Frost poem. Yeah.
Wow, nice. Yeah, I got this book because my brother passed it to me last year, and then it told me the meaning of life. Some people need to climb Nepal and then find someone with long beard to ask what is the meaning of life. And then this guy will right, and then you are supposed to somehow absorb the meaning of life from there. So from this book, I realized the meaning of life is very simple. It's basically spiritual growth. Regardless of which religion, spiritual growth. Yeah, and when I realized that spiritual growth is the meaning of life, then I realized whether it's parenting, marriage, career, business, or just health, spiritual growth is the congruent part of our life. So what excites me the most is seeing other people's spiritual growth every day and seeing my own spiritual growth through all the struggles I have. Great question. What else? June say meaning of life differs from... I'm sharing my meaning of life. Of course, everyone please decide your own meaning of life.
Lisa's got a more technical question.
What is it?
How does one claim a hashtag for yourself, like how you did, Eugene? And does a search for a hashtag that isn't found on Google mean it's available?
You claim a hashtag by starting. So tonight, if you post on social media and you start a hashtag, then you immediately claim a hashtag. Okay, but before you do so, can you please go and search first? So if you search and you say, how come not available? Not available. I say nobody has this hashtag. Yeah, then use it. That's exactly what I did. By the way, I'm a complete tech idiot. I just want to confess first. I'm not savvy at all. And despite my unsavviness, I can still be on LinkedIn, Facebook. That means anybody else here who is unsavvy has no excuse. Right? You can also be very active on social media without being savvy at all. Yeah.
Hi, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Okay. Yeah, this is for Louisa. Actually, I see all the things that you do. I feel very stressed already. Yeah. But anyway, my question basically is, amongst all the many things that you do your two kids have to compete for your time? How is their growing up like? Do they what do they do to compete for your time?
Well, this sounds like parenting workshop.
Yeah, because at the end of your presentation somewhere there was something to do with kids and congruent parenting.
Yes. I think really for me, children are who we really learn from rather than teach. For me, my 15-year-old is already starting as an entrepreneur, and I learn so much from him, and I get inspired by him. So I must say, actually one of the things, being a woman, being a mother, being a entrepreneur, one of the struggles that we often have is guilt, right? Am I not spending? And it was the same struggle that I had actually when I was a teacher. So much marking to do. So I was like, when I was with my family, I was guilty that I was not spending time with the, marking, my students' work. When I'm with my students or marking the work, then I'm guilty that I'm not spending enough time with the kids. So I have actually since learned that I shall stop feeling guilty. So this whole struggle with work-life balance is a myth to me. Okay, there's no such thing as work-life balance. Let's just face it. Balance is a state of flux. Okay, balance is not constant, and it's really very very stressful. Okay, but instead I work towards work-life integration. All right, where my friends at work are also my friends in my personal life. So I'm looking at all the areas, like Eugene's beautiful Venn diagram, right? I'm constantly looking at all the areas where I can overlap, and that's how I cope. The more overlaps I have, the less I am torn apart to have to deal with all these other aspects of things. Yeah, definitely I can always be telling myself that my kids need more of me, and that's why in my business also I'm really trying my best to operationally I am not required, that my team can run the operations of the business without me, so that at the drop of my hat, like tomorrow I need to bring my sister-in-law just texted me earlier, can I bring my father-in-law to the hospital for his review check? I said yes. Whatever I do, I make sure that my life is such that I can drop my the demands of my business anytime for my family. I can make sure that because I am a business owner, I can make sure that I control my time. I can block and say, this is an important day for my child. Okay, it's an award ceremony, or that a competition or whatever. I can make sure that I block it and I'm there for them on the significant moments of their lives. I also make sure that there are certain habits that I form. Okay, I cannot be with them every single day, but then maybe like Wednesday is the day when I make sure that I go and pick up my eldest son and have that nice lunch with him, and really spend that quality time. I know I can't give him the quantity, then I make sure I have a more meaningful quality. Yeah, I mean that's how we cope. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
I
of course
want
there will
to-
always be times when we always feel that there should be more, there can be more, but yeah, we try our best. Yeah, and just don't feel guilty about not being enough.
Since most of us are entrepreneurs, I think it's important to learn the word leverage. Yeah, as entrepreneurs, if we are the only one, for example, if I'm not running a team, if Alistair is not helping me, Valerie, Mike, all these are not helping me, if I'm alone, I cannot call myself an entrepreneur, right? That is called a self-employed. I might as well be fixing a car. Right? Every time you drive a car to me, I change the tire, I fix. The moment I'm not there, then nobody is fixing the car, then you don't pay me money. That is not entrepreneur. No, don't abuse this word. So Louisa has a team, I have a team, and any of you who are entrepreneurs, please learn to grow a team. If you're not growing a team, then forever you are competing with your family for your business, right? It should not be competing. You should not be drawing your time like a pizza and cutting it up. It should never be cutting up. It should always be multiplying. If one person is doing it and then now hire 3, then suddenly 3 people can be triply more productive while you bring your son for swimming, while you bring your son for US road trip, right? Then your business still runs. So the homework for you, please write down who are some people who can join my team. Okay, start recruiting today, start looking for them, start praying for them today. Not after 10 years still alone and say, oh, God didn't give me a person. I think you didn't go out and recruit. That's the truth. Yep. What else? No other question?
I think
see
one more question from Adeline.
Yeah.
What was the
Feel
question?
as a mom, you need to make sacrifices if you need to pursue your dream.
Oh, okay.
Do I feel like there are sacrifices made? It just doesn't feel like sacrifice. I don't know. I wouldn't call it sacrifice. It's just things that I love to do anyway. You know, they always say, right? If work is your hobby, right, then it's as if you are not working a single day of, yeah. So I don't feel like it's for me, I think I am very fortunate that my life partner, my husband and I are in the same business. And so, we are pursuing that same big dream in the change that we want to make in healthcare. So already, that part is settled. At least I don't have to be struggling, with another component of a different dream, for instance, that both of us already have one very big dream that we want to achieve. Yeah. So, I mean, happy to, please link up with me in any way. And happy to have a chat with any of you further, about my views of things. I would love to hear from you too, because I think sometimes it's really about perspective. I think one of the things that we really should constantly look at, and if you go to Planet Congruence, there is a form there is a link that I have there that you can actually do, and they will send you a report of your character strengths that you have. And mine is right up there is gratitude and hope. I think hope is a very important aspect to have as an entrepreneur. I think entrepreneurs are just optimists because actually the risk that we are taking in a business, it's so great, right? You really have to be super optimistic about the future, and I think that is one thing that keeps me going. I think the other thing is really about having a unique perspective of things. I never look at things just as how everybody looks at it, and I always refuse to partake in anything that is negative. Also, I always want to be shifting it and saying, what is that silver lining in the cloud, even with COVID happening and all that? What is that thing that every struggle that we have, right, every challenge that we have in our lives, there is a purpose to it. Even there is a lesson to be learned, and what Eugene said about, as long as there is growth, as long as you learn that lesson from that failure and there is growth, then that is the positive thing for why it had to happen, and you move on. Yeah.
Do you know what sacrifice? Sacrifice is being trapped in a corporate job 9 to 7, not being allowed to go home to have dinner with your family. And then when you try to do so, your boss threatening you. That is called sacrifice.
So if there's no one else asking a question, can I ask another one?
Sure.
Yeah. So we're talking about parallels today. We see a lot of Eugene and yourself having a similar type of life. Eugene had a turning point, he lost his job, and then he turned things around. But I only met you here tonight, and you basically said that from college until now, everything seemed to be smooth until the authorities did some hiccup for you 2 years ago. My question is, in every entrepreneur journey, there is a point of growth, and there is investment, and there's failures also. And at which point did you blossom and shoot off from there?
Honestly, I don't feel like I have blossomed yet. I think I will fully blossom when I'm 50, maybe. Yeah. But what I haven't shared, right, really was the great loss that we had, in investing in an art studio for kids that was, again, too early, right? We entered the market too early. And it was really my real life MBA from there. And I think earlier on, I shared a little. you know, it took me 40 years to really own my own brilliance, you know, to really fully recognize that I have so much to offer the world, that before that there was a lot of damage almost, you know, to my confidence level, and I struggled with that for so long, for 40 years. You know, it's like I know there is this thing that I can do for the world, and yet, you know, I just cannot find that courage to just step up and own it, right? Own my own brilliance, you know. But now I'm really finally coming to terms with it, and recognizing and moving on, you know. And I think a lot of us who are being held back in doing something, you know, of your vision, or creating a vision or a dream, is really because there is something that happened to us in our childhood, in our, you know, in our stages of life growing up, that hampered us, you know, and that created some very deep set belief system that really needs to be unearthed, that a good coach can help you dig out and unearth it, and then really get past that, and create that new belief system, you know, and that leads to transformation. Yeah. Happy to meet you over coffee, Carson, and you know, really share with you heart to heart, because for me, I'm an introvert. You know, people can't tell that I'm an introvert. But I think introverts are also greatly misunderstood people. Okay, an introvert doesn't mean that I cannot make a conversation with people. It's just that I actually personally prefer a one-on-one over coffee, and deep dive, and really form a meaningful relationship kind of person. Actually, being in a group, you know, in a big party, it exhausts me. It doesn't mean that I cannot be sociable, but it just drains me a lot of my energy, you know. And then I need to hole up in my hermit cave, right? And then, you know, and then come out again, and be able to face the world. Yeah. So whatever confident me that you see now sharing, right, it was only a very recent thing, you know, that for the first 40 years of my life, I actually struggled a lot, you know. And in you know, even seeing, like, you know, that initially I was just only viewing myself as a vice captain, you know, of the ship. That it was only very recently that, you know, I owned it and say, no, actually I was a co-pilot all this while in this family business of ours. You know, that I wasn't a wife who was just supporting the husband, you know, but that we had the same vision, and that without me, actually there would have, you know, maybe there wouldn't have been the growth that we had in our practice also. You know, to own that was only a very, you know, recent thing that happened 5 years ago. Yeah. So yeah, but like I said, you know, happy to connect. Drop me an email, or find, you know, a Facebook message, and, you know, and yeah, let's meet for coffee and talk more, because you look like a person who's also got a lot of deep thoughts and yeah, and great insights. I would love to hear. Yeah.
So it's just a yes/no question. So did you have a coach?
Did I have a coach?
Yeah.
I have had many coaches along the way, and I'm a person who loves to learn, you know. And to me, sometimes the coach doesn't even know that he's my coach or she's my coach, you know. Sometimes it's just really through friends who are talking, right? And I do a lot of self-reflection also. You know, I ask a lot of questions, and I do a lot of self-reflection. Actually, the best coach in the world, right, basically just needs to listen and ask questions. You know, actually you are the one who's doing all that sorting out and talking. Yeah. But yeah, definitely been blessed with a lot of people who have been giving me the guidance. And it's also sometimes for us to recognize that even sometimes, you know, the people who are not clearly you know, here to coach you, but maybe sometimes are the ones who are giving you the hardest, you know, toughest headache, and giving you the biggest problem, sometimes your coach too. Yeah. But of course, someone like Eugene, who has already been there, been through this all, and he's really has a formula and all that, I can definitely see how he can really bring a lot of value also, when there is that guidance, especially when, you are looking up, setting up your own personal branding, right? There's that technical aspect, as well as, sometimes, it really just takes somebody, to really ask you those deep questions to unearth, right, your core beliefs, and then to really abandon that. And then how do you then find yourself? I truly believe that we need the guidance of that third party sometimes.
Just nice, I'm coaching Carson. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Thank
He's
you,
really a
thank you.
very deep person with many interests. Polymath.
Yeah.
Polymath.
Can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to have a conversation with you.
Okay, let me just summarize because it's late, 10 o'clock. And in fact, I have a session right now at 10 o'clock. But let me summarize with the word polymath. I think a lot of people like Carson, like Louisa, like me, are interested in many things. So don't believe in the lie that you need to get rid of all these and focus on one. Like, hey, come, don't do all this kind of parenting thing and all that. Just focus on nutritional pill. Just focus on tennis. Don't go and touch all these other things. Please, whoever is telling you this advice, go and look at the person's life first. Okay, if you really respect and admire the person's life, okay, follow. But if you feel like it doesn't resonate, this person all day in day out only sell insurance, nothing else, or day in day out only sell property, nothing else, then please don't take that advice, right? It doesn't make sense, right? We are multifaceted. We are a three-dimensional. You see, I can turn around. We are a three-dimensional being. We're not some cardboard villain kind of. I'm here to destroy the earth. Right? Nobody likes to watch this kind of villains anymore. Or the new villain is Thanos. Sensitive newish guy, kill the daughter and cry. We need villains like this. And all the more we need heroes like this. Three-dimensional, right? There are many aspects of you. Your son, your daughter. No, you can't be a son and daughter at the same time. Sorry. You're a son, you're a father, you're a husband, you're an entrepreneur, you are a volunteer, you're a foundation chairman, you're multifaceted. Don't lose any of your uniqueness. Don't believe in all this unique or shaving off specialization. Always be a polymath. Okay. Thank you for joining, right? And I would like to sincerely invite you to join Louisa on her networks and also join me in our journey of abundance. Okay, so please stay in touch and God bless. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Louisa. Thanks for joining us.
No,
Okay,
thank
bye-bye.
you for organizing this session.
Thank you. More to come. And before you leave, if you can type some nice words for Louisa and for me, that would be very nice. Other than thank you.
No. Share it on Facebook. Tag
even
us,
better.
tag us, yeah.
Even better. Very good.
Get the photo from Alistair, put it on Facebook, and then hashtag, Planet Congruence, say yes to abundance, and tag us.
Right.
Yeah.
All the top, very important. Thank you, Lizzie. Justin, yes. Okay. I feel like it's like a dinner where we have to shake hands while people leave.
Thank you for all your precious time also, because it was like we took up a good 2 hours, but really thank you all for staying through.
Yeah. And don't forget to fill up the application form, to indicate interest, and then Alistair, I will talk to you one-on-one, right, to gain clarity about what you want for life.
Yeah, I think clarity is a important word.
Yes, clarity. A lot of people walk in circles.
That's how you're gonna go and recruit more team members. When you're very clear about your dream, your goals, your values, then the like-minded people will come and join you.
Someone in this room right now also does a lot of very good personal branding on a different medium, which is Liz. Liz, how many subscribers do you have on YouTube?
200,000.
Oh wow!
What? I got 136.
I just started 14.
We need to talk to her.
Yes.
Wow, Kylie say didn't take dinner, but don't feel hungry. Wow, very good. We can run a special program on how to replace food with mind food. Oh, sorry. Someone is waiting for me for 4 minutes. Okay, I'll go first. Thank you, Louisa. Thank you, everybody.
you.
Don't forget to fill in the application form. And Carson, see you for coaching. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Hope to connect. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. If any of you are still filling up the form, you can stay in the room, but I'll be here until everyone leaves.
Thank you, Alistair.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. It was
Bye-bye.
very, very insightful.
Thank you.
Great to have you with us.
Yes, thank you.
Kelly, are you filling up the form also?
Yes, I'm leaving now. Thanks, Alistair.
Oh, okay. I thought you filled out the form. Okay, can see you.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Kim Sing, are you there? Okay, never mind. Goodbye.